Hey everybody, it's the Doll Boy, and today I'm back with another Disney doll playset video. In my last videos, I already took a look at the recent Sleeping Beauty playset and an older Ariel set, and today I'm unboxing the Rapunzel playset and doing another long-haired Rapunzel reroot. This playset came out on the Disney Store last August, and it is branded with Disney Princess, so I'm super curious to see if there's more princess playsets on the way. The set opens super easily from the back, and you can simply slide that inside box out. If you're familiar with my channel, you already know that I am an unboxer, so I get right into getting these dolls out of the box by undoing those twisty ties on the bottom and back of the box. Then I'm going in and cut those dolls away from the packaging. In this set, the main attraction for me, honestly, was this Maximus horse, since he looks so movie accurate and actually has real hair. The size of the horse also seems pretty realistic. I only wish there was a nicer way to sit Rapunzel on the horse. His saddle also looks very detailed and can actually be removed as well. The harness that he's wearing is also removable to give you this completely blank, pretty realistic horse figure with light blonde hair. Then for Rapunzel, the Disney Store finally gave her some long hair in combination with a super pretty face, new dress design, and actual shoes. As you can see, Rapunzel is also on that new body type instead of having that super tiny waist. Flynn Rider is the basic doll that we have seen before, and unfortunately, his body is not as articulated as the Prince Philip one from the Sleeping Beauty set, since this doll only has shoulders and elbows, but no wrists. The top he's wearing is one piece with everything stitched to it, some separate brown pants, and brown boots that are much less detailed than the Flynn Rider doll that I already own. However, the chair he comes sitting in is so detailed and movie accurate that I simply had to have it. And I think it's the same one from a collector Rapunzel doll set that came out a few years ago. And there's also some other accessories, like this stool, guitar and frying pan that the doll can actually hold, a flower crown for the doll to wear, a skull figurine, and this painting and easel. Right before this giant doll set came out though, I did already buy the Storybook Rapunzel doll that came out last year that comes in this completely recyclable paper box. It has some games and a beautiful illustration on the back, and the doll, a second dress, and even more accessories in the box. I actually was super intrigued with this dress, since it's a pretty creative take on Rapunzel's original design. This doll's hair is definitely not as long, but it does touch the floor. Looking at the Rapunzel reroots that I've done in the past, I do really like my very first Rapunzel a lot, that I rerooted in saran hair, but I always thought that shade of blonde was a little too light. I'm also not the biggest fan of how saran hair holds up over time, so I did do an updated reroot a little more recent in Sinatra hair. However, the only blonde color that was available in a super long length was a very peachy blonde, and looking back, I really don't think that color suits Rapunzel super well. So my personal favorite Rapunzel reroot that I did was the limited edition one that I did recently, that to me has the best hair color for Rapunzel, as it's a bit of a darker, more natural blonde than the others. That's why I wanted to give this new Rapunzel doll a reroot in the same colors, with the base color being the Flexion Blonde DG HQ Nylon hair from the Doll Planet. If you want to order your own reroot hair from the DollPlanetHair, make sure to use the discount code TheDollBoy10 to get 10% off your entire order. The main reason for this reroot is the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of the hair type they keep using for Rapunzel dolls. So I simply cut all this hair off as short as possible. Dip the doll's head in boiling water to carefully remove it from her original body, and then take my force applier to remove that leftover hair. I then pull those bits out through the neck hole to completely clean up the inside of the head. As you can see, that part line is made up of so many tiny holes that are very close to each other. So to give myself a bit of security during the reroot, I again add some liquid fusion glue to that part line and spread that out with a Q-tip. For this specific reroot, I don't feel like it's super necessary, but I'd rather add it and not need it than skip this step and regretting it later. The specific hair colors that I'm gonna use are the Sunflower Blonde and Weed Blonde that are light golden blondes, and then I'm adding the Flexion Blonde that's a bit darker and more ashy. For the hairline, I'm mixing these three colors together to get a super natural and blended mix. To start the reroot, I wrap one strand of this hair around my finger 2 times, pick it up with my reroot tool, and push it into one of the holes from the head. I keep going all the way around the hairline, moving from back to front to make sure I can warm up in an area that doesn't really matter too much. Then with the hairline finished in that color mixture of the 3 shades of blonde, I move on to the part line that I root in that same mix. Since I glued the original holes shut, I am taking a needle and my force appliers that I push into the part line to create my new holes. After creating a new hole, I add a strand of the hair, and then I create another new hole right behind that, until I have that full part line covered. And then when all the hair of the part line is added, I take the end of my rat tail comb and drag that through the part to split it in 2, to reveal this super easy and neat part line. For the rest of the head, I simply alternate rows of those 3 different shades of blonde to get more defined high and low lights. And when all the hair is attached, I twist it out of the way, put a plastic bag around the hair to protect it, and add my fabric tag glue to the inside of the head. While spreading that out evenly with my Q-tip, you can see that I accidentally got a little messy with that glue, so I'm very grateful that I actually wrapped it with that plastic bag, because otherwise the glue would have gotten in this hair. And then while that was drying, I really wanted to compare Rapunzel's skin tone with some made-to-move Barbie bodies that I ordered. I have this wheelchair one that unfortunately wasn't a great match, since it's too dark and has too much of a pink undertone compared to the yellow skin tone Rapunzel has. And I also bought this yoga doll that had a bit more of that yellow undertone, but was much darker than Rapunzel. And then I had the tennis player doll that was too light and pink. So I ended up reattaching Rapunzel's rerooted head to her original body. because unfortunately, that was the only matching skin tone I was able to find. To style the hair, I quickly dipped the head in some boiling water to lay it nice and flat, and then I cut the very ends of the hair that were super thin. I also added in some temporary pieces that I was able to cut shorter to frame her face, and if you want to see a detailed tutorial on that technique, make sure to leave a comment down below. I really hope you liked this review of Rapunzel's doll set and the makeover that I gave the doll. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more doll videos. Also let me know in the comments which Disney princess I should give a new reroot to next. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more doll content in the meantime, @TheDollBoy. See you next time!